Hey, my name is Julian, and I'm a director and cinematographer for the Nook Collective in Bellingham, Washington. Today I want to talk about the Zhiyun Crane 3 Lab. It's a gimbal we got a few months ago and we've been using it across a bunch of different projects. So in the video today I want to show you a few different projects that we worked on with it and show you how it's helped us in run and gun situations and music videos and just some fun projects that we did together. The first project that I took the Zhiyun on was a music video. I think what struck me the most was the quick setup time that you have with it. You can really set the whole thing up in 4 or 5 minutes. After that, you have your settings dialed in, and I'll just keep the numbers on my phone inside of my Notes app. And so then anytime I take it down and set it up again, I can just go to those numbers and it's super easy. It only takes a minute or less. There's a few different shots inside of the music video that were hugely improved or even made possible by having the Zhiyun Crane 3. In this shot where we would have wanted to use a dolly, the ground was too rough, and so instead picking up the Zhiyun Crane and being able to lead the actor was much more efficient and effective and gave us the exact same effect. And also at the end of the shot, we wanted to create this effect where we whipped down into the next shot, and it worked really well for that. This shot was a perfect example of a glide cam or steady cam shot where you're trying to push in and then follow them all the way out into the hallway. I was a little bit nervous of shooting this shot on the gimbal because in the past I've had issues with gimbals, looking a little bit robotic or showing a lot of the up and down foot movement. But I was super surprised by how smooth the shot came out and how well the Zhiyun performed compared to a Steadicam or a glide cam I've used in the past. So this last shot inside of the living room, we wanted to play around with some of the joystick controls on the gimbal, and we wanted to pan across the floor and then pan up to the actor and push all the way in on him. It was my first time performing this type of shot on the gimbal, and I was super surprised by how easy it was to get the movement as well as the focus throughout it. In a lot of the documentary work we do, we don't have a ton of time to shoot with people, and we also want to have as little of an impact as we possibly can. So being able to have a system where you're not holding people up during the shooting process or making people do things a bunch of times over and over again is a huge benefit. In my style, I normally like to use sliders and tripods a lot to get very calculated shots. So generally I've strayed away from using a glide cam, but with the Zhiyun Crane 3 I've noticed that I can get a lot of those tripod shots by just being still with my arms, and I can get a lot of those slide type shots by just moving really slowly. And inside of this project where we really had a limited amount of time to get a lot of footage, that was crucial. Another feature that allowed us to move quickly is the ability to change shutter speed, f-stop, and ISO right on the handle. There's also an iPhone app that you can plug straight into the Zhiyun that allows you to view your picture and change these settings as well. Another shot where you normally would have had to use a Dana dolly or a jib to achieve, you're able to get this slow push-in of the two builders, which is a nice way to get an establishing shot without having to take too much of their time. We also set up a couple music video shoots to test out some of the features on the Zhiyun Crane 3. Here's a few of my favorite shots from those. On this shot, we used the vortex mode, which allowed us to move 180 degrees on the tilt axis while also doing a 180 degree rotation, which allowed us to create this really cool effect. This shot really would have been impossible with any other piece of gear that I have. With a small crew, you often have to do things a little bit more DIY, like in this shot where I sat on the front of the car and got this slow push in, which allowed us to create a much higher budget look on a no budget shoot. I love getting overhead shots, but I often steer away from them because they're super hard to set up. But in this situation, we were able to get a great looking overhead shot by just climbing up a ladder and holding my arm out over the actor. And finally, we created this simple push-in by me just walking forward with a couple of different light gags. This probably would have also been a simple shot to achieve with a slider or Dana dolly, but being able to do this allowed me also to run around and get coverage from different angles, which is super crucial when you're trying to work fast. Overall, I was amazed by how the gimbal performed in these 3 to 4 hour shoots and how much footage we were able to capture. One of the things that's always been challenging for me in the past is the robotic feel or the up and down movement that I've seen with a lot of gimbals. And I'm really amazed with the way that the Zhiyun Crane 3 Lab handles this. And I've noticed with a little bit of practice, it's really given me super smooth shots without any of a robotic feel. One of the most important features for me is the built-in follow focus. This has been a huge challenge for me for years with the glide cam, and being able to natively change your focus in many different situations has really been a game changer. The Zhiyun Crane 3 also shipped with a zoom control. I haven't had much time to play around with it, but I'm really excited to mess around with it in the future, especially trying to get some dolly zoom effects. One of the things I didn't mention, but I use all the time, are all of the different modes on the Zhiyun Crane 3. From the Go mode, to the Lock mode, to the Vortex mode. There are tons of different effects you can get, and I would definitely look into it in other tutorials. Coming from a background of mostly using tripods or sliders or jibs, I've really been amazed by the ability for the Zhiyun Crane 3 to replicate all of these movements in an almost imperceptible way. At a price tag of $900, it definitely seems worth the investment. Thanks for watching the video, and please leave any questions in the comments below.